If you have ever wondered how fractal wood burning works, we're about to find out together. Because I just bought a kit for it.
Now, I opted to buy a kit as opposed to making one my own because I'm no expert when it comes to electrical work. I've seen a lot of people use microwave transformers for something like this, but that is a lot higher voltage and extremely dangerous, so I opted for this neon sign transformer. As far as setup goes, all I had to do was attach these two terminals to two wires, and then attach the terminals to these clamps here with a bolt. And then it's pretty much plug it in and you're ready to go. Even though this is a neon sign transformer, it is still coming in at 10,000 volts, so it is extremely dangerous. So I made sure to do my research, so I'm setting it up outside, got a fire extinguisher ready, and the one thing I love about this kit is that it comes with a foot pedal, so I ran that safe distance away so I can't actually operate it unless I'm standing several feet away from the work. Now that solution I just put on is just a mix of 1 cup of water and about a teaspoon and a half of baking soda, and now we're ready to go. So I plugged it in, made sure to turn on the on switch, step back, and then just put my foot on that pedal, and you can see it is starting to burn. Anytime I had to turn off the power, I made sure to take my foot off the pedal, turn it off, and out of an abundance of safety, wear these stylish rubber gloves and unplug the power. Since this burn kit is made from a neon sign transformer, it's much slower than a microwave transformer. So here is in regular speed, and here is at fast forwarded in 20 times speed. In total, this still only took about 10 minutes of burn time, so considering the added safety of a neon sign transformer, I think this was well worth it. Now, for those not very familiar with YouTube, it makes a huge difference if you like and subscribe to these videos. So by liking a video, it makes it more likely that others will watch it, and by subscribing, all you're doing is telling the YouTube algorithms that you want to see more stuff like this. So if you make a free YouTube account and click subscribe for free, it will ensure that you see more videos like this, and it will help other people like you find these videos, which helps me a lot. So thanks. So as you saw, I tried cleaning out these grooves with a wire wheel, but after sanding a little bit, I realized that those scratches were pretty deep. So I went ahead and did a few light passes in the planer just to take out the scratches from the wire wheel. And then after that, it was back to more sanding. By using the planer, I do think I ended up taking away a little bit of detail away from these fractal burn marks. However, I really was okay with it for this piece. I still was happy with the end product. As I was sanding the wood, I started noticing some natural defects in the wood and some tiny cracks, and so I grabbed some CA glue and black dye, went ahead and stirred that in really well, and just started spreading it in any natural defects throughout the wood. I use activator so it dries immediately, and then I was able to get back to sanding pretty quickly after applying this CA glue mixture. After applying the CA glue, I got back to sanding. So for this project, I started with 80 grit sandpaper and worked my way up all the way to 400 grit. I made sure to start water popping the wood so that just raises the grain. That way when it's washed down the road, it doesn't feel super fuzzy afterwards. So I would sand after every water pop from 180 grit up to 400 grit. Now make no mistake, sanding was the longest part of this project, but it was all worth it when I got to apply that finish. Now I know mineral oil is the most popular finish for charcuterie boards and cutting boards, but I actually like using Danish oil. I find it provides a little better protection for the wood. It is food safe once it fully cures after a couple of weeks, and you don't have to constantly be reapplying the finish like you do with mineral oil. Another benefit of using an oil finish is that at any time, if you want to add a little more protection or just kind of rejuvenate the color, you can always add a wax finish on top, and that definitely makes a big difference. Now please watch my very scientific and meticulous process to make sure that these handles are put on perfectly symmetrical on the board. Yeah, that's sarcasm right there. The reality is, since this is a live edge board, you really can't find a perfect center because there isn't a perfect center. Each side is a little different. So I just grabbed a piece of scrap wood, did a lot of measurements to make sure that it's as center as I can get, and then just do the solid eyeball test. When attaching these handles, I always make sure to drill in from the top. That way, if there's any tear out on the wood, it's on the bottom of the board where it isn't visible. I also like to start with a small drill bit as it's easier to start the hole in a more precise location and then build my way up from there. And of course, always countersink on the back, that way the board sits flat. One last tip for you. Attach these handles using a drill if you're impatient like me, but make sure to hand tighten at the end with a screwdriver, that way it's not a pain in the butt to get off later. And there you have it. That's how to use a Lichtenberg Fractal burn kit to make a pretty dope charcuterie board.